This is the story of wishy-washy Shepard, unwilling subject of a brainworm. She just recently became a Spectre, the first human Spectre in fact, but nobody knows that she actually has no control over her decisions at all. See, in this run of Mass Effect, I'm going to be letting chance determine every dialogue choice. Using this little overlay that flashes in one of 6 different directions, I can let the brainworm take the wheel and just enjoy the adventure. If you're new here and just starting this series, this is actually part 2, and you really should watch part 1 first. I'll leave a link in the description and a pinned comment, so go check that out if you want to see how this journey started. As mentioned, Shepard just recently became a Spectre. Given the task to track down rogue Spectre Saren, Shepard now has free reign to travel anywhere. But that's not all. After gaining Spectre status, there are a handful of quests that open up in the Citadel as well. I took this time to take stock of all the quests available on the Citadel. Here are all the quests that are flagged on the Citadel in this game, leaving out the uncharted space stuff. Now, let's cut out the ones that I just can't do yet because they aren't available until later in the game. Next, these are the ones that I have already finished or have flagged. What's left are the quests that I can flag right now. I'll keep this list in mind as I explore the Citadel. There is actually one of those uncharted space quests in the Citadel Tower. This guy, Garroth, initially is hesitant to talk, but Shepard pushed him and managed to get into the quest flag dialogue, and then thankfully she also agreed to do the task. Nice.
If your brother is still alive, I'll find him. Give me the coordinates.
Shepard went down to the Presidium to look around for other quests and found this old lady named Helena Blake. This was another one that wasn't in my list since it's an uncharted space assignment, and Shepard actually refused to help her. But Helena doesn't take no for an answer here. Lucky break, I guess. Up next, let's handle one of the quests I have flagged but haven't finished. Help Emily Wong. Shepard refused her the first time she asked for help, but now she has the item she needs, and she refused her again.
Nothing I intend to share with the press. These are for an official investigation.
Emily walks off disappointed, and checking the journal. Well, I guess that is the last we will be seeing of Emily Wong. There is one area I neglected to visit at all in the last video, which is this bar by the name of Flux. Upon arriving here, Shepard overhears a conversation between a woman and the bowless bartender. Sounds like she has a quest.
Sorry, I'm kind of busy right now. So, what can I do for you?
I'm good, thanks.
Alright.
Or not. Well, another quest successfully locked out. There is another quest here though, and thankfully it actually can't be refused. Upstairs in the slot machine room is a rigged slot machine. Garrus notices something fishy about it and starts tracking the signal to somewhere on the wards. The trail leads to a secret little corridor only accessible up an elevator, and after checking this new one, Garrus tracks it to another location, this time on the Presidium. The next spot is sitting behind Bar Levon in the Merchant Quarter. This point redirects to another one like a few feet away. It's in this room behind the market, and this is the final destination. Checking this spot makes the computer start a self-destruct sequence. Turns out this is a rogue AI that is siphoning money, though we will never know why, because Shepard goes straight for the renegade choice and pisses it off. You have to do this little puzzle where you use trial and error to probe for the order of buttons and remember them as you find the right sequence. Pretty typical video game puzzle, not very difficult. The AI is deactivated immediately upon finishing the puzzle, and Shepard levels up. I put points into Charm and Intimidate, getting both to that breakpoint of level 4. Hopefully this helps with some key decisions later. There is one more quest on my list of flaggable quests, and it's at the med clinic. Shepard overhears Dr. Michelle in some trouble with another thug, though this time he is threatening her over the comm. Shepard asks what is going on, and Dr. Michelle explains she is being blackmailed by someone who found out about her less than perfect job history. And Shepard refuses to help. Man, not having much luck with these today. Well, let's head to the ship now and see where the next destination is. Shepard talks to Udina and Anderson, and they outline the 3 major choices. Pharos and Noveria, both mentioned as having Geth sighted recently, and then some uncharted world where the daughter of Matriarch Benezia is located. I mentioned in the last video I wanted to choose the next destination randomly, and thankfully the game provides the perfect method for accomplishing that. And it looks like the worm is pointing towards Noveria. Guess it's in the mood for some snow cones. Shepard asks Anderson about his history with Saren, but stops the conversation before he gets to the good stuff. What a tease. When Shepard boards the Normandy, she gives a little speech to rally the troops, and this was kind of fun to see with random choices. Though there isn't really a gameplay function for these choices, it's funny having her Frankenstein together a speech with seemingly contradictory options. It's also funny seeing Garrison Rex look all badass posing, while Shepard goes on about how superior humans are. Before departing, Shepard goes to talk to all her new friends. Most of the conversations are over in a flash, but Ashley, oh my god. I'm gonna let this play out in 5 times speed so you can see just how long this was. Alright, enough dawdling, time to ship out. I'll check out all these optional locations in another video, but Noveria is a pretty long chapter, so need to focus on it specifically this time. Shepard travels to the Horsehead Nebula and does a little exploring of the nearby system of Strenuous. I guess that's how that's said. Just some pickups and a planet that looks explorable but isn't available yet. Going on to the real destination of Pax, the only planet with anything significant is Noveria itself, so time to land. Joker calls in to inform Noveria Control that we are landing, and they seem very resistant to the idea. When Joker drops that there's a Spectre on board, they don't really have an option and allow the landing. I decided to randomize my squad loadout for this as well, so I just did a simple trick for that. I rolled a d6 twice, and took whoever the number matches up with from the left. The first die landed on 2, so Caden, and the second on 4, so Rex. I would have re-rolled if I got a dupe or if it landed on Liara. Hopefully this system makes the party dynamics a little more interesting so I'm not just running Garrison Tally everywhere. I make sure to level my dudes up and head out for the planet. Shepard runs into some resistance with the security force, and this is a pretty tense scene. This time the worm went all in on renegade options, and it looked like it was about to turn into a bloodbath. But Gianna Parasini calls over the intercom just in time to stop an all-out brawl. She awaits just inside to greet Shepard. Weird disconnect of dialogue choices here. When Shepard says, "I heard there were Geth here," she actually asks if anybody unusual came through. This is when we hear that Matriarch Benezia is here. Well, that's a good enough reason to investigate. As Caden says, she's Saren's right hand. Gianna explains that she went off to a location outside called Peak 15, but the only way out there is to get clearance from the Administrator. So that would be our next task, to get out of this dang port and go find the Matriarch. Time to explore Port Hanshan. First up, there's this friendly-looking guy standing off to the right as we enter, by the name of Opold. He informs us that word has already gotten around that a Spectre is here and that the others are wary. He has a request, and he comes just right out and says it. He wants Shepard to smuggle an item into the station through customs. Shepard dodges the question and goes into the shopping interface instead, but this stuff is a bit pricey, so no purchases. Shepard goes down to meet with the administrator of Port Hanshan. On the way to his office, she speaks with Gianna Parasini again, who buzzes Shepard in. Anolaus is not particularly personable. He even talks smack about Earth. He doesn't seem like he will be very cooperative to Shepard's mission here, but Shepard decides to get straight to the point and rat out Opold, which I found hilarious. That was a pretty quick turnaround. Anolaus seems keen to actually see the item to be smuggled, so Shepard sets that task aside for now. Anolaus also informs Shepard where Benezia got off to, a research station called Peak 15. But after that, Shepard leaves.
I have no more questions at this time.
Only to be stopped by Gianna on the way out. Gianna drops the name of someone who might be able to help. Some guy waiting at the bar named Lorit Keen. I guess we have 2 leads to follow now then. Shepard heads up to speak to Opold again, but hits a wall of goodbye again, despite speaking with him 3 times. Guess this is a hint to come back later for this and address the other possible route first. The other business people around the port are pretty dismissive of Shepard. There is a friendly Turian named he says to call him Lee.
I'm the chief mechanic for Hanshan. Just call me Lee. Humans have a problem saying my full name.
What?
Unlike everybody else, he's pretty forthcoming with information. He explains the deal with the garage and the pass to get out. but refuses to give his pass since they track whose pass is used to open the garage. The guard at the door gives a similar spiel about needing a pass from Annaleus. Shepard heads up to the bar and on the way in sees a suspicious woman waiting by the door. She gets right to the point. She wants Shepard to talk to some guy by the... Well, that's the end of that quest then.
I'm busy.
Lorik Keen is sitting at a table by himself. Shepard inquires about getting to Peak 15, only to hear about a storm and then end the conversation. That was kind of a waste of time, might have to try again later. The rest of the bar has a few chests to open and some NPCs that don't want to even interact with Shepard. There was a locked security terminal which gave some XP and a fancy jingle when decrypted. Maybe that will help later. A nearby terminal also gives a quest out in the galaxy map after being decrypted. Shepard eavesdrops on this guy, and she seems to have a twitch because she won't stand still. Very subtle, Shepard. The Solarian here gives some backstory about the situation between Lorik Keen and Annaleus. Very interesting stuff. Shepard tries speaking to Lorik again, and it goes pretty similarly. She asks him a question, gets a cryptic answer, and then immediately gives up and leaves. And a third time, but never getting to the point. This is not working out as I would have hoped. Something has to give, so Shepard heads back downstairs to see if the Opold route works out. Oh, progress. He is explaining the job. Again. Whoops, now she wants to shop again. And we're back to goodbye. Sometimes the worm just refuses to advance the story. Finally, it relents and tells Opold that Shepard will smuggle the item in. Now we're getting somewhere. The item to be smuggled is sitting out in the docking area by the Normandy. So, 2 annoying elevator rides later, I really don't miss having these in Mass Effect 2 and 3, and Shepard has the item in hand back in Port Hanshan. Now, what do we do with this? There are 2 options. Give the item to Opold as he requested and get some minor rewards, or give it to Annaleus and get a pass out of Port Hanshan. We are at a major decision point, but no dialogue interface to facilitate the worm making the decision. So, instead, I flip a little coin. Heads Opold, tails Annaleus. And the result was... tails. Guess we gotta throw this nice gentleman under the bus. Immediately, Annaleus asks for it, and the option to lie and say I don't have it is presented, but the worm backed up the decision of the coin and offered it to him. Annaleus gives the pass, as promised, and a tiny bit of cash, and now we simply must investigate what Opal says now that his fate is sealed. Unfortunately, there are too many options in his conversation interface, and most of them lead nowhere. This could take a while if I try to push it. So let's just ignore this for now and get out of here. Time to go after Matriarch Benezia like the main story demands. Shepard shows her pass to the guard and makes her way into the garage, only to find... Geth! We got some new types even, as this is the first encounter with the sneaky sniper Geth that jam your radar. This section will be a bit combat heavy from now on. Lots of Geth, among other things. After defeating all these Geth, the security captain comes in and asks what the hell is going on. Turns out these Geth were packed in shipping containers that Matriarch Benezia brought with her to Noveria, and the security checks completely missed. That's embarrassing. How could you miss a bunch of robots in a crate? Well, now we get our first vehicle section. Ah, the Mako. Everyone's favorite little six-wheeler that could. There are a bunch of Geth along the road through these snowy mountains, but the range on the Mako's guns is nuts, so taking them out from a distance is quite easy. This hallway full of rocket dudes would be a fun obstacle, but it was a simple task to blow them apart. On the other side is the first Geth armature encounter. And it's dead. I'd make some snarky comment about how I should have picked a higher difficulty than veteran, but the truth is I die quite often in regular battles later on. It's just that the Mako sections are stupidly easy. Even Thresher Maws are pretty easy pickings for this thing. I was playing this late at night and was dead tired, so I had more than a few close calls where I nearly drove straight off the side of the mountain. Don't drive while sleep deprived, folks. This mountain road is long and winding with lots of Geth in the way, but eventually Shepard reaches Peak 15. And speaking of dying in combat, here is just such an example, in the first battle inside Peak 15 against a bunch of Geth. The first Mass Effect is very swingy. 1 second you're dominating, the next you're dead. Maybe a result of mismatch between RPG and shooter mechanics. Anyway, second time's the charm. Or not. Give it another go then. This Juggernaut is the bane of my existence. I forgot how to use Medigels, so after an embarrassing display trying to figure that out, I finally beat it. Then, just mopping up the rest of the Geth and this Krogan? What is he doing here?
He owns this club, but the customers have to stay out front.
Oh man. Don't walk around rooms while sleep deprived, folks. It took way too long to figure out how to get out of this room. Even my override ability suffered. Finally finding the path, Rex makes some cheeky comments about the state of these turrets, which are clearly designed to shoot escaping test subjects. Not a good sign of things to come. Some more Geth ambush us up the elevator, but that's not all. What in the hell is that thing? Now we got these little green bugs coming after us, and in the hallway, Rachni soldiers. Funny that the game interface tells you straight up what these are before the characters themselves know. After the first Rachni battle, there is a level up, and I realize I've got several stored up. At this point, the balance is leaning towards charm, as you can see here. In terms of investment points, I'll continue trying to keep them balanced. My boy Rex is becoming a beefcake though. Nothing can hurt this man. It becomes a bit of a recurring gag that Kaidan goes down like a sack of bricks while Rex is basically unharmed. The next area has some more Rachni inside. This is the computer mainframe or something. The assistant VI is apparently offline, so Shepard goes down into the memory core, and here we get the classic puzzle, Tower of Hanoi. Not me taking way too long to solve this too. Anyway, got that done. Now the VI comes online and we can talk to her. This is Mira, and she is very helpful. When Shepard reveals she is from the Alliance Navy, Mira determines that things are messed up enough to grant Shepard access privileges. We learn that Benezia took the tram, but the tram is busted. The computer systems are still offline due to the reactor being down. Now we got the task of fixing the reactor. Off we go. First up is the roof. A bunch of Rachni waiting up here to ambush. These little green ones are pretty nasty with their poison. Up here there is a nice pickup, a suit of heavy armor for Rex. Not a fan of the yellow. Rex's color is definitely red, but the stats are definitely an improvement. After getting stuck in a loop with Mira for a little while, Shepard finally got sick of her and logged out. Fixing the landline is simple, so off to the next task. There is one single Rachni in the main room. Not sure why he thought that ambush would work, but alright then. Now we get to the main reactor, and this is a much more intense battle. This room is crammed full of Geth, a lot of them, and with pretty awkward angles to shoot from. Lots of snipers too. Rex has no problem surviving, but Kaidan is not so lucky. A pair of Geth destroyers end up taking him down. Fortunately, I unlocked the ability Unity recently, so I can get him back up. Fighting in long hallways like this is definitely a weakness of the shoddy build. A lot of enemies are just too far for me to damage with guns. Eventually, the team managed to clear out the bulk of the baddies and hunt down the stragglers, clearing the way to restart the reactor. The XP gain for fixing the reactor actually comes before reaching it, so I get a random level up just for walking close. Now that the reactor is online again, it's time to make the trip over to Peak 15 on the tram. Mira informs Shepard that there are some biological contaminants in the passageway to the tram and gives her an option of how to deal with them. Shepard doesn't care about any of that and orders her to open the doors instead. Guess we're doing this the hard way. The team splatters some more bugs and finally reach the tram station, which brings them to Rift Station, the main hub where Benezia should be hiding. There's a group of soldiers waiting to greet Shepard as she comes out the elevator. Ventralis here explains the situation. There have been a lot of alien bugs coming up the elevator shaft attacking them. They've been holding this defensive position, but they're struggling. Shepard asks where Benezia went, and he reveals she went to the Hot Labs. Now we got a destination, but before heading out, a few more Rachni come up and attack. They go down easily enough, which is actually the subject of the next conversation. Why was that so easy? The Rachni have been throwing themselves at this defensive wall over and over with no chance, and nobody quite knows why.
Even animals should learn not to stick their noses where it hurts.
There is a lot of tension around this lab. These guys are on edge after barely surviving against these tenacious aliens. There is also some indication that a sickness is going around. Not sure what the deal is with that. And, spoiler, we will never find out. Shepard goes down the elevator to the quarantine zone first and finds Han Olar. This is the scientist who survived the initial outbreak of the aliens. Shepard starts to interrogate him, but doesn't really get very far. Alright, moving on, I guess. The other scientists aren't very helpful. There are several locked and blocked routes down on this level, with a pretty rude guard blocking one door. Giving one more attempt at interrogating Han Olar, and he immediately reveals that these bugs are Rachni.
About the Rachni?
Don't screw with me, they can't be Rachni.
Rex is incredulous. He continues explaining where the Rachni came from, though the other scientists really don't like how forthcoming he is being with this information. It seems they found an egg on a derelict ship and used that to revive a long-dead race. Han Olar is pretty depressed over the events up to now, blaming himself for the death of a colleague, to which Shepard is understanding. Well, now we have some information, but there is more to see up here. This Asari scientist says absolutely nothing. Nice chat. The Elcor scientist is more helpful. He explains he is a merchant and has some goods he can sell to Shepard. Shepard tries to get some freebies, but he isn't down with that suggestion. He has some very expensive higher level stuff. He also has a Medigel upgrade and a new license from my ship merchant. There is one more scientist in this room, a jumpy Solarian. He doesn't tell us anything new really, just that Ventralis knows where Benezia is. There is a med bay down the stairs, where a doctor is working on the sickness that we don't know anything about. Shepard tries to ask about it, and the doctor says he can't talk about it. Shepard seems satisfied with that explanation and leaves. Well, I guess that's the end of that. That's pretty much all we can see around here for now. The last remaining route is very clearly off limits. The armed guns and cameras really make that clear. Now we are out of options, and two possible routes. Down the elevator to the hot labs, or through the suspiciously secure door. Guess we're flipping a coin again. Heads hot labs, tails bust in the restricted area. And it landed on heads. Shepard goes back to the elevator she used to get up here to Rift Station, and immediately takes another to the hot labs. More elevator rides. Fun stuff. Down here is a single man sitting in a chair in a giant room. Not suspicious at all. Shepard asks what's wrong with this guy, and he is very concerned with the outbreak. When Shepard asks about Benezia, he says he has no clue and doesn't care. Now we get a much more thorough explanation of what went down with the Rachni. The company here found the egg, brought it back to clone, and it was a queen. They instead had the queen hatch a clutch of eggs and then separated the babies from her to try and control them, only for that to backfire completely. The babies can't function without a psychic connection to the queen. So they went crazy and started attacking everything in sight. The guy suggests they activate some sort of countermeasure called the Neutron Purge, not really explaining what that is or what it does. Shepard talks to Mira and then immediately leaves, and somehow this act armed the Purge? Alright. She goes back to the guy in the chair and asks what this Purge is. Now he tells us. It kills everything. Sounds like a party. When he says he will help with arming the Purge, Rachni pulls a perfect horror movie villain move and kills him mid-sentence. But fortunately, he dropped a document with his codes clearly visible. So now Shepard goes back to Mira and arms the Purge using the code. This was weirdly smooth, no getting stuck in conversations or anything. But the fight on the way out sure wasn't. The radar looks like a nightmare, red triangles for days. The room is definitely full to bursting with enemies to kill. Grenades help clear the way, but it's mostly slow and steady firing from cover while nervously ignoring the countdown clock in the corner. Ultimately, there was more than enough time to wipe out all the baddies and then rush through to the elevator. It seems all those enemies on the radar are a bamboozle. At the top of the elevator is a fat chunk of XP as all the crazed Rachni are killed. But now we have a problem. Ventralis said Benezia was down there, and she clearly wasn't. What's the deal, man? Huh, he's gone. That's weird. He's waiting in the next room, and he only says one line.
Orders from Benezia. Open fire!
This is nothing compared to all those Rachni downstairs. Ventralis hung out while we took out all his friends, and after winning this fight, we got another level up. Build is starting to come together now. Charm and Intimidate are up to level 6, which is actually as high as I can take Intimidate at the moment. The balance is shifting towards Paragon. Shepard explores this area looking for signs of anybody else. Everybody's gone, probably executed by the guards. We see evidence of this as we exit the elevator to the quarantine zone, as Han Olar is being threatened by an Asari commando. She's backed up by some regular guards. I gotta say, this party that has 3 sources of the power Lift has been really effective. Lift just wrecks everybody. Float them up and shoot them back down. Good stuff. Han Olar seems to think he has some sort of hex on him. He reveals that sending Shepard to the hot labs was a trap to begin with. With that, he says he's getting off the mountain, and Shepard now once again has 2 routes available. A newly opened door near Han Olar with an icy cave behind it, or the restricted area upstairs. This time, I opt for the restricted area. It looks like the two routes connect anyway, but there is likely more stuff to see upstairs. Indeed, this route has a ton of combat, more guards and commandos blocking the way. After clearing them all out, I backtrack through the other side of the icy cave from downstairs, closing that loop. Now Shepard finally enters the secure lab, where Matriarch Benezia awaits. She starts rambling about motherhood and children. The Rachni were meant to be an army for Saren to control, and then she calls in some commandos while she uses stasis on Shepard. This is a bit of a strange battle because it's just wave after wave of bad guys. Benezia herself is hiding somewhere and using her biotic powers to summon more guys? Not sure how that works. Her minions include some Geth as well. Makes sense, she did bring them up here in crates. This one commando gets extremely greedy, running straight up into our defended position, slapping us around a bit, and then running away. For some reason, when Wave 3 comes out, Benezia starts looking weakened. Like, what is actually hurting her here? Is she sharing HP with these guys or something? The battle is coming to a close now. These last few Geth troopers get stuck behind boxes, making them very annoying to kill, but without backup, they go down. After all the guys are down, Benezia starts talking to us again, except this time, she seems to break control of Saren and asks for help. She tells us about how Saren indoctrinates his followers, making them follow his every word as if they had no choice. And then she tells us about the Mu relay. It seems this was the main goal Saren had for reviving the Rachni, not using them as an army. I mean, he wanted to do that too, it's just a cherry on top of his evil plan sundae. The Rachni lived in the part of the galaxy with the Mu relay, and they obscured the location of it. They also conveniently shared memories across generations, so even this queen, who was hatched from a newly discovered egg, knew the location. So Benezia extracted that information, and then passed the information along to Saren. During this dialogue, she gives Shepard a disc with the location. But since Benezia herself doesn't know what Saren wants to do with the relay, she simply compels Shepard to stop Saren. And then she loses control as Saren takes over again. Now it's a fight.
Die.
Though she was honestly kind of a pushover. 3v1, I guess. She had a very little chance. Shepard is not impressed with Benezia's shifting loyalties. I guess Shepard doesn't understand indoctrination much yet. Benezia dies, leaving Shepard to deal with the elephant-sized bug in the room, the Rachni Queen, who starts puppeteering the corpse of a nearby Asari commando. Immediately, Shepard is like, "What the hell are you saying to me right now? Musics?" But the feeling is mutual, it seems, as the Rachni has trouble understanding speech as well.
This is going to be a fun conversation.
Here, we have the big decision of this chapter, what to do with the Rachni Queen. Rex is on team kill 'em all.
Don't let them come back.
And Kaidan is opposed and supports sparing her.
If we kill her, we kill the entire race.
When the choice comes up, Shepard chooses the paragon option first, spare the Queen. Rex dissents, and another choice comes up, with one option to kill her after all, and 3 to spare. Shepard doubles down, and the Rachni Queen walks free. Rex still isn't happy about this outcome, but the worm is law, and I guess worms like Rachni? Maybe they're distant cousins or something. Another level up, and holy moly, look at those paragon points. That was a big shift towards paragon, which was already leading to begin with. Shepard gives the boys some points too, and then heads to the elevator to go back to the ship. Our work here is done. After taking the tram, the setting shifts back to the ship, where the team is having a meeting. We don't know where to go yet, even with the location of the Mu relay in hand. Garrus and Tali suggest finding Liara next, to which Ashley takes offense. When Joker suggests talking to the Council, Shepard refuses. She has no interest in oversight, I guess. Well, that's it for Noveria. The big bad bug is now free to roam the galaxy, Benezia is dead, and the location of the Mu relay is obtained. Next time, we have a few more choices on where to go. Will it be Pharos, to save a hopeless town from some Geth? Therum, to save the daughter of the Matriarch who we just murdered? Or some other previously DLC option that I haven't mentioned yet? Better come back for the next part and find out what happens next in the adventures of Wishy-Washy Shepard and her amazing friends. See you soon!